Greetings, all you out there at Internet Lands. I'm Peter Ortiz, your corpulent host. Joining me is my buddy Kyle.
Hey.
And we're going to talk about a few things. The first thing we're going to talk about tonight is I am just tired of people bad-mouthing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie before it's even out. Kyle?
100% agree with you. It's being angry at something you haven't even seen yet. I agree with them. The designs were a little bit jarring when it first began. I'm kind of warmed up to them a little bit, but it's also, like we've talked about before, it's meant for a younger generation. It's not meant for you. If you want your 1989 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they sell them on DVD. It hasn't been ruined, I guarantee you.
Although they are put out of order on disc.
They are out of order.
Okay, anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay, moving on to other news. Neversoft is no more.
Neversoft, no more.
Neversoft no more. If you don't know, Neversoft was a video game studio owned by Activision. They put out the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, along with the original PlayStation 1 Spider-Man games, and of course, Activision's first big cash cow, Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it's too bad. They're becoming a bigger super.
Yeah, they're merging with what's left of Infinity Ward after the whole fiasco that happened there, and they're merging with Infinity Ward to become one big super company.
Yeah. We're not sponsored by NatureBox, but they're delicious.
They are.
I just noticed that wasn't shut.
Anyway, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's too bad that something that had such solid franchises is kind of no more. But I mean, really, at those companies, you got to wonder how much of that original team is left.
That's true.
You know, I'm sure it's not. It's very few key people are probably still around.
My favorite thing, though, is to celebrate their end. They actually built. The people at Neversoft built their logo, you know, the eyeball with the thing, and they lit it ablaze, and they gave it a Viking funeral.
The Vikings knew a funeral.
Oh, hell yes.
That's why their football team is so good at losing.
Wow, Kyle, you are just making friends.
Who does a funeral better than the Vikings?
That's true. You just make friends wherever you go, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about Destiny. Destiny's having their beta soon. I don't know anybody out here, but I was part of the public alpha on PlayStation 4, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, not this guy, but I'm excited for it. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, the developer has a great track record, although I'm kind of upset that that's like really the only game that's coming out. You know what I mean? Is there anything else that you're super hyped for?
Dragon Age Inquisition.
That's not a sequel? Because, I mean, there's some...
Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One.
Okay.
I'm really jazzed about that. I don't have an Xbox One, but that looks like a game that might actually make me drop the 400 bones for it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just... It kind of seems stagnant to me. There's not a lot of...
It's...
new properties going around.
Ooh.
You know, it's all sequel-a-thon.
But if you want to talk about new properties, freaking Gearbox announced their new first-person shooter MOBA game, Battleborn.
Yeah.
They're not making Gears of War 3 people. Not Gears of War. God damn it. They're not making Borderlands 3 people. Which I'm fine with. Borderlands 1 was good. Borderlands 2 just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
It just milked it too much. Too many expansion packs. Too many... It's... They said everything they need to say. You know what I mean?
My issues with Borderlands was never really the expansion kits, although there were some pretty terrible ones. It was the gameplay. It's just the fact that there were so many randomly generated guns. The shooting didn't feel very good.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it did, like, the shot, like... I'm with the kind of camp where it's like, oh, I have this assault rifle, and this rifle feels this way. It has these kind of quirks. You know, and then this shotgun, the shotgun has these kind of quirks. You know, you just kind of get used to your weapons. And when you're swapping weapons out so much just for the loot, you just kind of lose
And you never really build up a weapon,
No.
I mean, that was kind of all. That's kind of the cool thing, like in Mass Effect and stuff like that. Is you felt like you could upgrade a weapon if you liked it. Eventually, you'd want to go for something better, but it didn't feel like well, I like this gun so much, I can't have it.
If they made Borderlands 3 and they gave us, instead of dropping pre-made guns, if they dropped gun pieces that you could craft together and make the gun you want to make, I'd be back on board.
That'd be awesome.
That would be. Oh, frickin', okay. In TV news, you remember Brandon Routh from Superman Returns?
Yeah, he's going to be the Atom.
He's going to be the Atom on Arrow.
Right.
Or is it the Flash? Arrow. It's on Arrow,
thing.
yes. He's going to be Ray Palmer, the Atom.
Which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
I always thought he was a good actor, and that he kind of got the shaft when it came to Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Superman Returns. Because, A, you don't turn that movie down. B, it was supposed to be a franchise, had they not...
fucked it up.
Yeah. Essentially.
I do feel sorry for Brandon Routh, but this might be a turning point.
Yeah, hopefully he gets back in and gets more roles.
Ooh, that's interesting. From the day one, the Thursday previews, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes has already pulled in 4.1 million.
There you go.
Wow,
it's gonna be big.
It is. Looks like it. Well, and that's the thing, though. I went into Rise of the Planet of the Apes thinking this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
I did. I wasn't feeling that movie. You're the one who actually had to drag me along to this. I was not feeling Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Just like I'm like, oh my god, like this is gonna be Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes all over again. This is gonna be bad. Like the Planet of the Apes movies, while the original ones were campy and fun, have never been good. And like this one, I saw the previews for Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I saw the previews, and I'm like, oh my god, they're going dark and gritty with Planet of the Apes. And I'm just like, and then I came out of that movie theater a changed man. That was an amazing movie. It was really good.
Yeah, it was. And I think James Franco being the star of that one threw a lot of people for a loop. It looks like he might be in a couple flashbacks in this one.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not a main character by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
Excited to see it. Yeah, it looks... Everybody says it's great. I'm sure it will be, so...
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. IGN gave it a 9.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which typically they're kind of a little bit harder on stuff, so...
Yeah. Okay, here's a story that I found interesting. On Steam and on PC for the longest time, you can actually buy into the alpha of a game. You could pay for early access of an unfinished product, and like you buy it early, and then you get every update as the game goes along. I guess recently EA said that they were interested in exploiting this. I don't know if exploit's the right word. Maybe it is for EA, but in an interview with. Slow computer. In an interview with Game Sutra, Sony Vice President and publisher Adam Boyes said that paid access to the alpha is something they're looking into for Sony games on PlayStation consoles. And that could be a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because who wants to play an unfinished Uncharted?
Yeah,
and that's the thing. It works with, and that's the thing. The prepaid alpha, that's good for indie developers who may need a little extra cash to help finish their game. It helps them build a fan base. And Minecraft really is the one who set this precedent,
right?
Because it was Minecraft selling their alpha and then updating as it went along. And some games take advantage of this, like in a bad way. Some developers are kind of like the garage developers, who is only like one or two, maybe three guys, and they need a little extra money, and they don't just want to beg.
Well, the reason it works for independent gamers, or independent game studios, is because typically their games are different, and they've got better or different ideas. Whereas I think the one you can really point to is Batman Arkham Origins, a clearly unfinished game that they'll say, oh, okay, here's our release date for the game. If we've got this pre-beta or whatever, we just cut it off at that point and say, hey, the game's done. You know what I mean? Your early beta access or whatever, the game's done, and we might do some expansion packs, but you don't feel like fixing the game.
But to be completely honest, ever since the dawn of the online consoles, that's pretty much how games have been. so many games have shipped unfinished, and they just rely on patches to finish it.
Yeah, but I think that will even be more tempting to studios. You know what I'm saying?
But Battlefield 4. How was that a full release? If you look at the bugs and shit, that thing was an alpha.
Yeah, but Battle 4 is all about multiplayer, and it's kind of like World of Warcraft, where it's constantly a changing beast. They're constantly adding stuff to it. So I guess shooters like that, it doesn't bother me. But a single multiplayer game, that's where it kind of...
You mean a single-player game?
Excuse me. A single-player game, that's where it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, does this mean, like, Sucker Punch is now going to start giving alpha access to Infamous?
Right.
Or Naughty Dog with Uncharted?
Right.
That's what worries me. Like, I don't want to play an unfinished Uncharted. I like playing finished games.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a demo, but I don't want a beta.
Yeah. I mean an alpha.
Or an alpha.
Or alpha, beta, yeah, that's true. Prepaid is a slippery... the prepaid alphas is kind of a slippery slope. I myself actually have taken part in a prepaid alpha. I bought an early access game. On Steam, it is 7 Days to Die. Have you heard of this? Mm-hmm. It is a open world sandbox building game like Minecraft, except instead of being voxels and squared off and looking kind of crappy, it's like, it's realistic graphics and it's set in a zombie apocalypse. So you have to forage for supplies, you have to cut down trees to get wood, you can build houses, you can do anything, and you gotta fight zombies all the while.
There you go.
They just released update 8.7, I think it was, and they added random world generation. Because up until now, there's just been like one giant map to go on. Now they're talking character customization and random world generation.
Right.
Pretty good game.
Nice.
I just hope they do something to add to the stability, because I play it and probably 40 minutes in I crash.
It sucks.
But that's what you get for paying for an alpha.
That's true.
So I'm not mad about that. I can't wait till it's fixed.
Right.
Here's one story that's kind of making me a little anxious about the future of game development. Is GameStop is looking to get into the actual development of games and making potentially large parts of the game accessible only if you buy your copy through GameStop. So this moves beyond pre-order characters or weapons or like mini missions. This could be whole levels in a level-based game.
Yeah.
This could lock off parts of the story unless you buy your stuff from GameStop.
It's not a good time to be GameStop.
No.
I mean, with the way the digital age is, and I think GameStop was done a huge service by everybody who bitched about Xbox, and their when they were going to have that you have to be always on and
you
download the
can't
game.
trade in games.
Basically, it'd be like Steam. Yeah, I think they were done a huge service by everybody who bitched about Xbox because of that.
Well, you see, part of the thing about that is I think Xbox has been really beholden to retailers. Mm-hmm. Like, I think they fear the wrath of the retailers. I mean, traditionally, because when Xbox first started offering their downloadable titles, they were offering them at like the maximum retail price. They weren't giving discounts. I think it was because they were kind of scared of GameStop, because then GameStop could actually say, okay, we're not going to sell Xboxes anymore.
Well, I don't think Xbox has much pull anymore. Or not Xbox, I'm sorry.
Microsoft?
GameStop has much pull anymore. I mean, it's just, they've closed stores recently, and it's just, even Best Buy takes in used games now. And I think Walmart does, or Walmart was looking at it, so was Target. What does a GameStop, besides being an expanded electronics section, offer you that a Best Buy can't? Usually you can say, well, it's the variety of games and it's the collections, which to some extent is still true. GameStop does offer a wider variety of it, but if you go in those stores, I know at least the ones locally I go in, still half of the wall is just your AAA titles.
I think the thing that might keep GameStop around for a while is there's still, as we saw when Microsoft said the Xbox was going to be always on, there's still a large segment of the populace that don't have the internet to download full titles. I think at least for a while, because the propagation of internet in America is terrible.
Yeah.
We live in Minot, North Dakota. Minot's an okay-sized city. So we have high-speed internet. But there's so many towns around here where, the best they can get is, satellite internet at 4G speeds.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, in high school, I knew a lot of people who lived out in those areas who played video games. And if they have kept that hobby up, then there's people out there in the sticks who don't have the internet capable of downloading those huge titles, or they may even be locked into some kind of crazy they got to pay by the minute thing, or it's prepaid sort of access. So I think GameStop, at least for now, is looking at a few more years.
Well, and the fact that they're looking at getting into that says a lot. I mean, it's always good when a company is looking for some new revenue, a new revenue stream, but that is kind of so far out of their box. You know what I mean? It's one thing to say to your developer, okay, we want an exclusive sword or download code. That's all handled on their end. If you're actually talking about them developing, I assume, additional levels, add-on content and stuff like that, I gotta believe that that's just them going through the developer and that they actually can't start a game studio. You know what I mean?
Maybe they could.
I mean, they could, but that for them it'd be all startup. There'd be no, they don't have those resources just laying around.
I don't know. They could go the Amazon route and buy a game studio. Amazon bought Double Helix Games. They made, just recently, they made Killer Instinct for the Xbox One.
But that's Amazon.
Yeah, that's true.
GameStop doesn't have that kind of capital. Because I'm sure they're owned by, I don't even know who they're owned by, but I'm sure they're owned by a subsidiary company that would, the second they're not profitable, there's the door. But
how about this? Could you see GameStop shifting its business practices and turn into something akin to Steam, just be like a digital distribution system?
I think that will be its last breath. I'm trying to think of, what is it? Blockbuster. That's what happened to Blockbuster. And I don't want to sound like I'm crapping on GameStop, because I'm not. I don't dislike the company or anything.
I actually like my GameStop.
Right, I do. And I do too. It's
what I do is ever since the 2011 breach of Sony, I've been and my credit card information actually was stolen, and people were charging games on my credit card. I've actually been afraid to give Sony my credit card. So what I do is I go down to GameStop and I buy those prepaid PlayStation gift cards.
Yeah,
that's how I've been doing it.
Yeah, but what was I saying before you interrupted me?
I'm sorry. You weren't shitting on GameStop. You actually liked the company.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I actually like the company. I got nothing against them. And when I say that would be their last breath, I don't mean that I think that that's coming soon. But if they were to go out of business, I think that's would be how it would kind of go down. Is that, like you said, they would become something like Steam. They'd get bought out by somebody. Somebody might keep the name around for a while, and then they'd eventually lose it. Because GameStop does have, if I remember correctly, they've got digital distribution for games already.
And they also have Congregate, which is their big free to play game site.
Yeah,
it has all those free to play games.
So they've. Who knows? I mean, I just don't think they have the resources to start a whole game studio. You'd think that they would, just more so pay the developer for a portion of the game. I think would be a more financially viable thing to do, but who knows?
Who knows in these crazy times?
Right. Because
somebody up there might just say, fuck it, we're all in. We're going all in.
Right.
We're already going down. What's the difference between $10 billion in debt and 15?
Yeah. Well, and I don't think they're going down. I think they're kind of
they're in a tumultuous place.
Right. They're a lot like Best Buy, where Best Buy, closed a couple stores and everything, but I think the fact that, like, your Sam Goodies, your Circuit City, all their competition has gone out. Now it's just them. And even though it is a smaller market, they're kind of the only game in town. So for them to go out,
TV.
right? Because so for them to go out, it'd be a big deal. So
Thank God you edit these out.
let's talk about comics.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about comics. I got nothing else to talk about.
All right, this is what we originally set up for. So, DC sent word down the media windpipe because I'm very good at notating sources. That they're rebooting, not really rebooting as much as shifting gears for Batgirl.
It's just a new creative team.
Right, dumping Gail Simon again.
She didn't dump. She's ending her run. She's actually walking away from this on her own.
Okay, this time.
This time, yes.
This time, okay.
She's actually. I heard the rumors too. No, she's actually walking away from this on her own.
Okay,
She's told her Batgirl story.
Yeah, which, you know, if you don't got anything else to say, it's great that she's walking away from that. But to be honest with you, I really enjoy her writing. I think she writes female characters very, very well.
Yep. Yep.
And with the new Batgirl, they're clearly going for a younger market, which once again I'm all for. You know, it's always, you know, more readers is always good, and I kind of think that Batgirl has always been aimed at girls. Wow, that is a great... Oh, there's your headline for the podcast. Batgirl is aimed at girls.
Yeah.
But I mean that as in pre to doing this, and actually we're looking at it right now. It's a picture of kind of her taking a selfie of herself.
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like. I didn't like that picture of her taking a selfie. That's just a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
I like the new costume though.
Yeah. And what I would have preferred done is that they had a different character be Batgirl. Have a Stephanie Brown or, you know, something along that lines. Have somebody else take over the mantle. Because
what Gail Simon set up is that Barbara Gordon doesn't want to be Batgirl anymore.
Right, exactly, and that she is such a she's become such a defined character. She's a lot like Nightwing, and that she's progressed into an adult because we knew him as, you know, young kids, and then Dick Grayson became Nightwing. You know, totally an adult character, and we'll talk about him in just a second. And then she is the same way, where she was kind of a teenager, and now, especially with how Gail has been writing her, she has really come into her own as an adult. And if that's any indication of her, you know, going out to clubs and taking selfies, it seems like a regression in character to me.
I have a question. I've had this question about the new 52 Batgirl, and you've been reading it, I haven't. Maybe you're the one to answer this. When the new 52 restarted, did Barbara Gordon magically regain her ability to walk, or did they remove the whole being crippled?
I'm not 100% on this. I believe it's still canon that she was crippled, but they gave her the ability to walk again. I don't know how they gave it to her. Or if she was just temporarily paralyzed.
How old is Batgirl in the new series?
Mid-20s.
Mid-20s. So she was crippled when she was like, if we're going that like Batman's been around for as long as they say he has been, she must have been crippled when she was like 17.
Yeah, 17, 18,
Jesus
somewhere around.
Christ.
So
you see, this is my problem with the new 52. Like when they announced it, they said, "Oh, this is great. This was going to be a new starting point. We're just, we're starting everything fresh." But they didn't. Mm-hmm. Barbara Gordon was crippled, but she magically got her ability to walk again.
Yeah.
Like fucking, there's still all like Batman Incorporated was still going on. Mm-hmm. Like, and I get you don't tell Grant Morrison to stop, but like, when you say you're going to do the new 52 and say it's a fresh start for everything and we're restarting everything, you fucking restart everything.
Well, they didn't say that. It was a soft restart. where they chose what they wanted to restart.
Oh, it's a
But
cherry pick restart.
That's off topic.
Yeah, it's off topic, but still.
So, and I agree with you that the comic has been very, very dark lately, and I can see why that doesn't appeal to the fan base that you're looking to go after with her.
To be honest, man, I'm tired of dark.
Mm-hmm.
I've just, the past few years, like, Christopher Nolan just took me down this dark path with The Dark Knight, and then, like, The Dark Knight Rises brought it up a bit, but I've just been so tired of dark.
Yeah. And
I'm burned out.
well, and what they should do too is like they've done with Harley. They kind of, in the first issue of Harley Quinn, they kind of say that it takes place in the New 52, but it's very much so a beast of its own. And that's what I kind of feel like they should do with her, is they should almost restart the Batgirl comic, and say, okay, this is, we're going to kind of, another soft reset, if you will, and then just make her whatever, and then kind of have her be in her own universe.
The one thing I didn't really care for when I was watching DC All Access when they talked to the writer, is he was talking about how they're moving Batgirl from Gotham to like a suburb of Gotham, and it appears to be the hipster area of Gotham.
High fashion.
The high fashion, the boutiques, the vintage boutiques. It just seems like she's moving into, and even in this picture, everybody around her, there's like a girl back here with like those giant fucking glasses, and there's a girl here with tattoos up and fucking down her arm. It just looks like she's going into hipsterville.
Yeah, it feels a little too clueless for what I like. But once again, I guess the target audience is changed. Yeah, but which is too bad, because if you've read the last couple issues of Batgirl, they had a new villain called Silver, why he doesn't have his own comic blows me away. So get this,
good?
He's kind of like Batman. He's got a kick-ass car. His name is Silver because he's a vampire hunter, and what he does is that he actually drinks silver, so that like when a vampire bites him, they get silver into their
I don't see where this warrants its own comic.
He's that. He's got this chick who's like a butler for him that helps him.
You mean a maid?
Right. No, not a maid.
A chick butler is a maid.
Kato. It's more Kato-ish.
So she's a chauffeur.
Right. I assume she does more stuff to him, but it's like...
mean more stuff to him.
Put your hand down. But she's very Kato-like. She helps him fight. And I guess from the Silver, he goes a little bit crazy, and he sees Batgirl, and she's got one of the Talons with her, but he sees them as vampires when they're trying to help out this other little girl who's been kidnapped. Mm-hmm. And the whole time they think he's crazy, but then it turns out that this little girl they've been trying to... Sorry, spoilers. This little girl that they've been trying to save actually is a vampire, and she tries to bite him, and she has like an allergic reaction to him. And the comic ends with the king of the vampires showing up and taking the girl and being like, "This is my little one. I'm sorry she's been causing you so much trouble." And he takes off, and then Silver kind of leaves, and you're just kind of left with, oh my god, this was a great story, and now it's just gone.
You know what? Typing Batgirl Silver brings up images of
Robin.
Silver Age Batgirl, and then if you type in more of Silver, you get pictures of Alicia Silverstone in the costume. So I'm not finding any pictures of him. Yeah,
I'll bring you the two issues.
I didn't see anything that warranted its own series.
I thought it was a great character.
Because that just sounds kind of like a rip-off of Blade.
No, he was...
Vampire Hunter in a world of superheroes.
No, but it wasn't... Yeah.
I'm dredging up my feelings for vampires, which I'm very strongly against vampires in superhero comics. So I'm very against Blade, and I'm very against Morbius, the Living Vampire.
Like those Ninja Turtle people, you haven't even read it and you're already judging it.
No, I've read enough.
Have you read Silver? Have you read Silver?
No, but I've read fucking Blade and I've read fucking Morpheus, and I'm like, these two do not belong in Spider-Man.
Did you read the most current Morbius line?
Okay, the last Morbius comics I read was a collection of like the stuff that was that the '90s Spider-Man cartoon got based on. So it's probably like
when Marvel started the Marvel Now stuff,
oh boy,
they redid Morbius. First issue or first 2 or 3, if I can remember, were amazing. They set him up in a new city. All this, he was like in the middle of a gang war. So cool. The 4th and 5th issue, if I remember right, were so bad. I've purchased all 8, but I have not finished it. I literally lost interest. Like, it was this great, great thing, and then, of course, it was supposed to go on for whatever. It wasn't supposed to be a limited series, but it stopped at 8, because everybody else, like me,
just saw how terrible it got.
lost, all interest in this book. Because, I mean, I'll keep buying a book, even if I stuck out Larfleeze, so I will almost buy anything. If
you stuck out Green Lantern in general.
Green Lantern's really good right now, but Larfleeze, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about at all.
Sure I don't.
Larfleeze, though, was terrible. But it ended this week, or this month, and it ended great.
You want to talk terrible?
It ended where it should have started. It ended with Gnart, is that his name? Like the dog Green Lantern and him, cousins, saying, all right, well, we're going to go off into the universe and have crazy adventures. That's the book I wanted. I didn't want this crazy... the whole time there's this weird chick chasing him, and I like Keith Giffen's writing, and this was not good. That was a mercy kill. They should have put that dog down at, like...
You want to talk not good? Let's talk Justice League 3000.
Yeah? You don't like it?
Oh, man, it is bad.
I like it. It took about 7 or 8 issues to like it.
Maybe that's why I stopped at 6.
Why did you keep reading it? I don't know. But yeah, it took a couple issues to get into it.
Man,
but that doesn't bode well for it, though. I will give you that. It's a rough read from the beginning.
Those fucking Wonder Twins.
You're 100% right. Stuff happens with that, which makes it a lot more interesting. But there's so much terrible setup in that.
And when I say Wonder Twins, I don't mean the classic Wonder Twins. Wonder Twin powers activate. I mean it's in the year 3000, hence the 3000, and they're 2 twin genius super scientists who found a way to clone the Justice League, but not really.
Yeah, and if you're interested in reading any more of them, there's about 10 issues that could have been condensed to 4 and would have been really good. But you're right, those, like...
I stopped at issue 6, and I'm like, no.
It drags on, yeah. You're 100% right, it drags on.
I did like the idea of Batman not having his parents murdered to motivate him, because Batman was pretty funny. And I know that's weird to say, Batman being funny, but Batman was kind of the comic relief in that book so far.
And Superman's kind of a big dwarf.
Dick.
He's more of an idiot more than anything.
Okay, the thing that confuses me is this version of Superman can't fly, right?
Right.
It's the year 3000. How do you not have a fucking device that can help him fly? I mean, the Legion of Superheroes had their fucking flight rings. How did they not give him a fucking flight ring?
I didn't write it.
And speaking of which, where the fuck are the Legion of Superheroes? It's the year 3000, and the galaxy seems to be split in half, and the only thing in there is the Justice League 3000. Where the fuck are the Legion?
Well, I'll give you spoilers. I'll give you what's been going on with it. Is that actually it turns out one of those twins is evil, and I think kills the other one.
Oh, shocker! Evil twin.
Which that was kind of cool. And then it turns out that actually they've been taking the DNA of the Justice League and they've been
pumping
melding
into
it
people
with other people. And it seems like it's because they meet up with the doctor who broke how to do it, and it seems like a very undefined process. And like she quit doing it because they couldn't get it right, and so it's more like they're 7 individual people who happen to be given mismatched powers from
the members of the Justice League.
The members of the Justice League is more what it's like.
Yeah.
It does pick up, but you're 100% right. After it's not very good.
But speaking of a comic that actually I read the first issue of and kept going, I want to talk about Superman 34. Mm-hmm. The debut, the DC Comics debut of John Romita Jr. Mm-hmm. Or was that 35?
33? 32. I want to say 32 because most of that stuff's 32.
Yeah, 32. I'm sorry.
32.
Issue 32, the DC debut of John Romita Jr. Have you read this issue yet?
Yeah. Yep. Got it.
I loved it. I loved how, spoiler alert, here's how the story begins. The story begins about 30 years ago in a big government, I don't know if it's government, but this big science think tank called the Ulysses Project. Now, they open up a doorway to another dimension, and they think it's going to destroy everything. You know, the facility's collapsing, they got to shut it. So the scientists' parents do the only thing they can do is they put their child in a rocket and send it into another dimension so this child will be safe. And, sounds like Superman, right? I think that's what they were going for.
Right.
Because now this child is an adult and he comes back, and it turns out in this other dimension he had nearly godlike power, just like Superman has here. And it's interesting because Superman finally found a human he can relate to.
Yeah, it was okay. The art was good. It was a decently written issue. My only problem is that it's been done so many times. Superman's equal. Like, that's Unchained. That's essentially what Unchained is Superman's equal.
Yeah, but
it's not a new storyline by any stretch of the imagination.
Maybe it's not a new storyline, but compared to Superman Unchained, this one was actually fun to read.
I've been enjoying Unchained.
Oh, I hate Superman Unchained. It is awful.
I don't feel that way.
Well, that's because you suck Scott Snyder's cock.
You have proof? No, you don't.
I have pictures.
Yeah. But anyways, I will admit that Unchained's not his best written stuff. He writes Batman a lot better. And that Jeff Johns' take on this is much more enjoyable. I still like Unchained though. But yeah, it was decent. I didn't feel like it was a game changer, but it was good.
Well, we still have yet to come. This is only the first issue.
Right. And for Superman, good is amazing at this point.
Yeah.
For
a Superman comic to not suck, that's Eisner Award material in itself.
Well, the fact that we're divided on Unchained is crazy because honestly, that's been the best one going. So the best one going, we can't unanimously decide to say, hey, yeah, that's really good. That's kind of weak.
I lost interest in Superman Unchained probably issue 3.
Yeah.
I don't understand where this whole Lois Lane.
That's New 52 Lois Lane, though.
Yeah, but isn't Superman Unchained New 52?
Yeah.
I saw a comic of Superman and I'm like, I am not reading that. It said it's a Lois Lane 12th level intellect. That harkens back to me, that just screams of harking back to like the Silver Age where Lois was going to be black for a day.
It would be the debut of Grayson, #1. Not a fan of... The first comic was decent. It looks like it's going to be a good series, but I just don't like what they did with the character.
Yeah, they made him James Bond.
Yeah. Nightwing was a great comic. There is really no reason to change it up, I feel. But, it's going to be good, and I'm going to keep getting it, but
it's not
I still wish they would keep Nightwing.
It's not that I'm not a fan of change. It's just that this is such a stupid idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be like, okay, we're going to take Batman, only he's not going to be Batman. He's going to be Bruce Wayne, man of mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they feel it's him without all the flash. And he's working for a organization and
Spiral.
Yeah.
Who were they were introduced in Batman Incorporated.
Yeah.
During Grant Morrison's tenure.
Right.
I love Batman Incorporated.
So
that was the last Batman comic I super loved.
Yeah. So good comic, but you're getting more James Bond than you are. I mean, they set it up too. The chick in it acts just like Moneypenny from the new James Bond movies. She's
an ass kicker.
She's an ass kicker. She's black. She's sultry.
Is she British?
I think she is. I'm not sure, but yeah. So really, I mean, I totally got that vibe from it. Like, it was like, oh my god, they're kind of ripping off, James Bond's Moneypenny more than they should, especially with this current one. But, and that's what it felt like too. It felt like, okay, how come this doesn't look like Daniel Craig in here? But it was, like I said, it was still good. I would still recommend it if you want a spy type comic. It's good, but it's just not. Just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Maybe it'll be like a pair of underwear that fits good after a while, but as of right now, it just
chafing.
If it's chafing, it feels like someone left the tag on. There's going to be a sticker, and when your pants fall down, everybody makes fun of you, and you look like an idiot. But
yeah,
it's still a solid quality pair of underwear. There we go. The two takeaways you should have from this are Batgirl's aimed at girls and solid underwear.
Be Batgirl's for girls, not into girls.
I said Batgirl is aimed at girls.
Oh, I thought you said... I heard Batgirl is into girls.
No, they haven't regressed into that yet.
They haven't done that yet.
They haven't exploited the homosexual...
yeah, they did that around 2004 for Wonder Woman.
Did they?
Yeah, around when Greg Rucka, maybe it was earlier, but Greg Rucka took over writing Wonder Woman, and he's like, well, it's an island filled with women and urges.
Maybe there's an island full of men somewhere.
Urges.
They need to write that story as well.
Yeah, it's called Sparta.
Sparta.
Did you see 300? Nothing but men.
That's true. That movie was a little homoerotic.
A little?
Brilliantly parodied by Meet the Spartans. Probably should sign off now.
Yeah, this has been Peter Ortiz of whatever this is now. Joining me is my friend, Kyle.
Peace out.
Goodbye.